Hi everyone, I am back in the classroom again to make a video on glycogen biosynthesis. In my previous video, I tried to explain the biosynthesis of lactose and its regulation by alpha-lactalbumin and prolactin. Although one molecule of lactose requires two molecules of glucose, if there is no expression of alpha-lactalbumin, there is no lactose biosynthesis. That means alpha-lactalbumin plays very important role in the synthesis of lactose. There are some experimental evidences suggest that if there is no alpha-lactalbumin, even if you infuse or inject high amount of glucose in vivo, there won't be any production of or any biosynthesis of lactose. Scientists, they also showed in vitro using mammary gland epithelial cell that they took mammary gland epithelial cell and then added high amount of glucose. There also in vitro in the cell culture, without alpha lactalbumin expression, there won't be any lactose biosynthesis. This suggests that the critical role of alpha lactalbumin. With this, I will move on to the biosynthesis of glycogen. What is glycogen? Glycogen is nothing but branched polymer that is synthesized and stored in animals, fungi as well as some bacteria. Right? So this glycogen is nothing but made up of glucose. It's a polymer of glucose. Whenever there is increased concentration of blood glucose in animals, so that increased concentration of blood glucose level will be reduced with the help of insulin to synthesize glycogen. So once glucose utilized to synthesize glycogen, that can be stored. Whenever there is requirement of glucose to maintain blood glucose level, the stored glycogen can be easily mobilized to maintain blood glucose level. That too, liver glycogen. Okay. This glycogen was first discovered by Claude Bernard. This was first discovered by Claude Bernard. He showed that liver contains a substance that can release reducing sugar upon fermentation. Later in 1857, actually he isolated that glycogen and he named that as sugar-yielding substance. In 1858, Kekule, he established the empirical formula of glycogen as C6H12O6 N times. Right? If you come to the biosynthesis of glycogen, it starts with phosphorylation of glucose. Mainly these 5 steps are important in the biosynthesis of glycogen, that begins with phosphorylation of glucose. Here, glucose is phosphorylated to glucose 6-phosphate by the help of either glucokinase or hexokinase. Hexokinase in muscle, kidney and uterus. Here, the major organs that involves in the biosynthesis and storage of glycogen are liver and muscle. Some extent, kidney can also synthesize and store glycogen, and uterus can store a little bit glycogen that can be helpful to nourish developing fetus. That means hexokinase involved in phosphorylation of glucose in other tissues other than liver, glucokinase that involves in the phosphorylation of glucose in the liver. So what is the significance of glucokinase? Glucokinase is a specialized enzyme that can phosphorylate glucose at very high concentration. That means when blood glucose level is high, or fed state, when fed state there is a blood glucose level, there will be high blood glucose level, that blood glucose level will be reduced by the action of insulin that can be stored in the liver in the form of glycogen. This glucokinase only active, as I mentioned, when there is high concentration of glucose. Because of this, glucokinase compared to hexokinase has low affinity towards substrate. That means high Km value. High Km value means it requires high concentration of that substrate. That's why if glucokinase involved in the phosphorylation of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, that means the glucose molecules are channelized to synthesize glycogen. Okay, so that is very important role of glucokinase. That means glucokinase that involves in phosphorylating glucose at very high concentration. Right? So once glucose is phosphorylated, right? Glucose is phosphorylated to glucose 6-phosphate. This glucose 6-phosphate can be converted to glucose 1-phosphate by the action of mutase. Right? So then glucose 1-phosphate is not readily reactive. That's why it is converted to UDP glucose by the action of UDP glucose pyrophosphorylase. Right? Here UDP glucose acts as glucose donor. I mentioned glycogen can be synthesized and stored in bacteria and fungi also. In bacteria, here in animals, UDP glucose is the donor of glucose during biosynthesis of glycogen. In the case of bacteria, it will be ADP glucose. Right? In the case of bacterial glycogen synthesis, instead of UDP glucose, glucose donor is ADP glucose. Okay. Once UDP glucose is formed from glucose 1-phosphate, now this highly reactive, right? It's a donor of glucose. UDP glucose is a donor of glucose and is highly reactive. Using this, glycogen synthase extends the glycogen or glucan chains. Once glycogen synthase added some residues to the primer or readily available glucan, then branching enzyme breaks alpha-1,4 linkage and adds that broken glucan chain by alpha-1,6 glycosidic linkage. Although glycogen synthase is very important in the biosynthesis of glycogen, it only extends the available glucan chain. Right? It only extends available glucan chain. That means it requires primer. Remember, I also discussed about starch synthesis. Right? In that starch synthesis, starch synthase also requires primer. That is amylogenin. In the starch synthesis, the amylogenin is not well characterized. However, in animal system, glycogenin along with some glucan part act as primer is a well characterized one. Similar to amylogenin, glycogenin having glucoside transferase activity. Glucoside transferase activity, and in humans we have two isoforms. Glycogenin 1, that is in muscle, glycogenin 2, that is in liver. In this, glycogenin 1 is like 37 kilodalton. This one is 66 kilodalton. Glycogenin 2, and glycogenin 1 is encoded by glycogenin 1 gene, and glycogenin 2 is encoded by glycogenin gene 2. Right? So these two are the genes encoding glycogenin 1 and glycogenin 2 respectively. Then how glycogenin transfers glucosyl residues to make a primer? Before going into the glycogenin part, let me briefly explain the formation of UDP glucose. This reaction here, you can see glucose 1-phosphate, UTP. Here, the phosphate group or oxygen atom that attacks alpha phosphate group of UTP and forms UDP glucose and release of pyrophosphate. This reaction can be readily reversible. This reaction can be readily reversible. However, at physiological condition, this pyrophosphate rapidly hydrolyzed. At physiological condition, this pyrophosphate is rapidly hydrolyzed by the action of pyrophosphatase to inorganic phosphate. So that makes this reaction irreversible. Right? So, two phosphate bonds required to synthesize one molecule of UDP glucose. Okay, so then coming back to glycogen part that act as primer, that has glucoside transferase activity. Here, glycogen, either glycogen 1 or glycogen 2 isoform that has tyrosine residue at 294th position. Tyrosine that has free hydroxyl group. This hydroxyl group that oxygen attacks the carbon atom 1 of glucose, UDP glucose. This first carbon atom, this fourth carbon atom, right? That forms glucoside glycogen. Glucoside glycogen. See here, this is the first carbon atom. Here, oxygen atom attacks the first carbon atom of UDP glucose, right? Then forms glucoside glycogen, and UDP will be, this part will be released, right? UDP will be released. So this action is mediated by glucoside transferase activity. That glycogen itself has that activity. Once glucoside glycogen form, again there will be transfer of 6 to 7 molecules of glucose to this and completes the primer. See here, one molecule of glucose and it's going to add 6 more molecules, 6 or 7 more molecules of glucose. That completes the primer. Primer is nothing but glycogen attached to glucoside residues with tyrosine 194. Right? Some reports generally they say these glycogen always present in 2 molecules of glycogen involves in the formation of or synthesis of glycogen. In that, what they say, one molecule of glycogen transfer glucose residues to another molecule of glycogen, right? Some report they say glycogen it has auto glucoside transferase activity that can transfer glucose residues on itself, right? But anyway, glycogen that has glucoside transferase activity that plays very important role in the formation of primer, right? So once the primer is ready, as I mentioned, glycogen synthase that requires primer, it can add or transfer glucose residues to the primer, already existing glucon, right? Here, this is a primer, glycogen, and the individual circle represents glucose molecule, right? Here, the linkage between individual glucose molecules is alpha 1,6, alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkage. To this primer, glycogen synthase transfers glucose residues. Again, here also glucose donor is UDP glucose only, right? UDP glucose only, and this glycogen synthase transfers almost 7 to 8 residues of glucose. Primer itself is having like 7 to 8 residues of glucose that act as primer. Then glycogen synthase that adds 7 to 8 residues of glucose to the non-reducing end. What is a non-reducing end? Non-reducing end means that is glucose having free OH group at fourth position. Here, you can see here, this fourth, the hydroxylic group attached to fourth carbon atom is free, that is non-reducing end. Glycogen is always attached to the reducing end. That means glycogen synthase transfers glucose residues to the non-reducing end. Non-reducing end means it is having free hydroxylic group at fourth carbon atom, right? So once glycogen synthase adds 78 residues, then branching enzyme comes into the picture. As I mentioned, glycogen is a branched polymer, isn't it? Branch storage polysaccharide. So that branching is created by branching enzyme. What it does, this branching enzyme breaks after 78 residues. After 78 residues of glucose, this branching enzyme breaks the chain and it creates, not only it breaks, it creates alpha 1,6 linkage. Right? Alpha 1,6 linkage. Like that, this cycle repeats so many times with the combination of glycogen synthase and branching enzyme. There will be transfer of glucose, n number of glucose using n number of UDP glucose. Then there is formation of mature glycogen. That mature glycogen approximately is having 60,000 glucose residues. You just imagine how much energy is stored in the form of glycogen. Right? So that's why this stored glycogen is immediate source of energy. Immediate source of energy during fasting. This much glucose can immediately provide energy to maintain the blood glucose. That too, liver glycogen. Liver glycogen can only maintain blood glucose, not muscle glycogen, because of lack of glucose 6-phosphatase enzyme in muscle. As I mentioned, two glycogen molecule. And also one thing I forgot to mention here. Here, initially glycogen and glycogen synthase, they are interacting each other. They are associated initially. Once chain started growing, then glycogen synthase detaches from glycogen. However, glycogen always with glycogen. Always with glycogen, that is covalently linked, right, through tyrosine. This is what I have represented here. See, as I mentioned, two molecules of glycogen always there. Here, glycogen in 1, glycogen in 2, and then you can see the branching. Right? Branching, and that is a mature glycogen. You know what is the advantage of branching? Branching actually that enhances the solubility, one thing, and another important advantage of branching is sudden release of glucose or immediate release of glucose, because enzyme that degrades glycogen, that is glycogen phosphorylase, that acts through terminal ends. Because of lot of branches here, the terminal ends, upon the activation of glycogen phosphorylase, at the same time, immediately it can release lot of glucose to maintain blood glucose level. Right? To summarize, glycogen is a branched polymer of glucose that is synthesized in liver, mainly in animals. Liver mainly, muscle also, to some extent kidney and uterus. Right? By the help of all these enzymes and with the aid of glycogen, right? Glycogen synthase and glycogen branching enzyme makes complete mature glycogen that can be stored, right? That can be stored in the liver as well as skeletal muscle. The glycogen stored in liver will be used to maintain blood glucose level. The glycogen stored in the muscle that can be used to, what is that? Utilize for muscular activity. Thank you.